Yes. And we're back again the third time for tonight as we're headed in the next game. But before we get to that, let me reintroduce back to my side. Fresh Tana, welcome back.
Yeah, it's nice to be here. It's nice to see those really important matches, and like with this win, we will probably see a tiebreaker. So another tiebreaker. So there could be 6 matches today, or we just have them played on the weekend offline. But that was an important win for Aroma, and I just heard from the production admins that it's actually important if Rift or Aroma is first place for the first side selection of the first best of 5. So when after that, I think losing team is choosing the side, but for the first game, probably first place win first place team has side selection. So that's that's important for that.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's pretty important, and I've seen maybe Once Upon a Team actually does the upset of the season and takes 2 wins tonight. I have to say they played really nice on Wednesday, so I have to see what they have in store for us. Yeah, maybe you can take a look at standings for those who missed it. Where are we at right now? 2 matches have been played, and the first spot is currently in the hands of Oma as they just took a win against Rift Slavs, meaning that if Rift Slavs later wins against Once Upon a Team, they'll be tied, and the tiebreaker will have to be played because their head-to-head score is 1-1. And then you can see that Reapers is not tied against Dynasty as they just lost their match against Aurora, which had a really good match earlier on and were able to pull Reapers back down a bit, which means that PERTINAX right now has the chance to maybe get back up there and be in competition for that 4th spot and thus the place in the playoffs. Because if they win now against Once Upon a Team, they will be tied with Reapers in terms of score, and because of the head-to-head being equal as well, they will be playing a tiebreaker as well. As Fristana has mentioned earlier, this one will most probably be played on the weekend from the info I have. However, there is still the possibility of the Rift Slavs versus Oma tiebreaker if Rift Slavs wins against Once Upon a Team in the 4th match of tonight, and both teams are still available afterwards around 11 to play another match. Now, the last half, Once Upon a Team, they will have a bit of a rough time in front of them, playing 2 matches back to back. First one against PERTINAX and then against Rift Slavs. But I mean, they're ready, and they'll have a warm-up game before their game against Rift Slavs, which is also something. And yeah, here we go. We are in the champ select.
Sharpening my feathers.
Yeah, so that could be the most important game for PERTINAX in the entire season. Get playoffs or go home, so to say. And it's really important. And I really like the Aurelion Soul ban already against Pinto. He's a crazy Aurelion player.
Now that it is enabled, definitely something to look out for. You have the Xayah ban and the Gragas ban. Gragas, which we've seen quite a lot lately. Very strong champion. Can do a lot of damage. You're really threatening in the lane. And Viego ban against Neko.
Yeah, I mean, just some tanks, just Viego, and yeah, it's really crazy that we see like this Viego ban. Like first he was coming up against Taksu in the mid lane. Now we see it a lot against Once Upon a Team. So it's really crazy to see those many Viego bans coming out. And like, what do you think Once Upon a Team had something brew up for this game? Because I mean, they could just screw PERTINAX over. So do you think they have something special trained for this match, or do you think they will just play something normal out of their rule book and just try to play it normally, or do they just cheese pick something?
I don't know. I guess at this point in the split, usually teams prepare stuff. We've seen it just earlier today with Aurora. And I have to say, Once Upon a Team gave me a really good impression on Wednesday against Drift Slavs. So I do hope they have something prepared to go up against PERTINAX and maybe upset them heavily, giving the free pass to Reapers Gaming to get into the playoffs. Which would be really funny after Aurora had such a strong game to maybe give PERTINAX back another chance. It's kind of like the other teams are competing for other ones now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we see the Karma. I think Spinto played the Karma last time, right? I think he played the Karma mid lane as well, but can't quite remember. But actually, there's Olaf, and I really like Olaf. He is broken. I don't want to play against him as a top laner. I never want. But yeah, could be a really dangerous situation already for Once Upon a Team.
Yeah, absolutely. Overall, Olaf always very strong. Plus, they have Nautilus, which is also a pretty strong pick here, very aggressive. We have a Vi coming in for Once Upon a Team, and a Ornn.
Yeah, and if Ornn is your answer to Olaf, then it's really tough. I mean, he will just lose. It's unwinnable for Ornn, or on the side lane at least. I mean, he will probably have some more like impact than Olaf in a team fight, but it's just you don't want to face it.
I think it's resorting to a comfort pick there on the side of Cutlet. We've seen him quite often.
Definitely
On that Ornn. It's not one of the big meta picks currently for the top lane, so probably one of these. And here we have a Kai'Sa. I don't know if you've seen any Kai'Sa this season.
Yeah, but she works really well with the Nautilus. Like it's a classic Nautilus Kai'Sa, and then she can always try to help Olaf with backline diving and stuff. So I can definitely see why they picked her up, and she has at least some opportunity to run away from the Y and to peel herself with the shield. So it's definitely a good pickup. Caitlyn Bund makes sense with the Karma, so you don't want to give them like the classic Karma Caitlyn. You could even try to go for like the Ezreal ban, just because Karma Ezreal is nice as well, but they ban out Spinto's Rice. And on the flip side, Wukong ban is definitely a good one. And even Ahri ban. I mean, I definitely never expected an Ahri, especially from Merlin. But he's a magician. He knows how to do something. I mean, this guy just single-handedly sometimes carries his team, just pulls out those rapids, and I like Merlin. It's just such an amazing character in their squad, and just greetings to Merlin right now. And they give him last pick, and I know exactly why. I definitely know why they give him last pick.
Yeah, absolutely. He's the ace in the hole and doing God's work always. And I don't know if you watched that game on Wednesday, but actually Jatko was really strong back there. Picked that Cho'Gath, and it looked like a dead end for PERTINAX, but he just started carrying them to a win. And now we pick up a Jinx for UFO. Now it's also pretty new here.
Yeah, Jinx Karma, a lot of scaling and a good engage, and there's Spinto's Swain. And I think we saw Spinto Swain against Haxu's Viego one time. I think that was the matchup where we saw the Viego first time, and where we saw like I think that was the match day where Batu played Swain the first time, and they crushed it. And then like the second match was Once Upon a Team against Aurora with the next Swain. So that was like the League of Swain on this day. And now we see Spinto, and I think Spinto definitely did a great job on his Swains in the last couple of match days. So he just, and especially against such a team comp, I mean, they are like 3 melee champions, And with
Yeah.
Kaiser sometimes being melee, if she dashes into you, you have like 4 people where you can train them out. So it's a good game for Swain, and like the mid lane matchup, Merlin is well known for his Orianna. Like those shockwaves, man, those
Yeah.
shockwaves. He just finds them. He just always, and it's really incredible. And he has a lot of setup with the Maokai, with the Nautilus, so he will find them again. I really like the draft of PERTINAX. It's a classic engage. It's a classic wombo combo team comp. On the other side, like Once Upon a Team, with the classic hyper carry into frontline, can work, especially if
Yeah.
Jinx gets ahead. But they will have a rough time, especially on the top side, with like Ornn against Olaf. Jadko will crush him probably.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, he will absolutely crush him. That's not what I want to say.
No,
But
that would
yeah,
be rude.
they will have a rougher time, especially coming in as the underdog in this matchup. But we've seen Wednesday, they can do great things, especially if I recall correctly, on Wednesday it was UFO who did a really, really good job as an AD carry. So maybe, who knows, he will be able to pull off that Jinx, but they'll have to hold out until then. That's the big danger of that pick, especially since they don't really have another way of carrying big the game without that Jinx, right? So they'll have to wait it out, tank it until then, and see how it works. Meanwhile, PERTINAX does have the tools to get it going more or less fast already. And there we go, into game 3 of tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Once Upon a Team versus PERTINAX.
Yeah, and we had 2 underdogs already winning their matchups. So why not make it a third time? Once Upon a Team, get your first win. It would be such an incredible story. It would be sad for PERTINAX, but I mean, Once Upon a Team just has 2 more matches to prove themselves, to win against another team. So maybe it's their day today.
Yes, absolutely. And if it is, they can upset so much in this last game day of the split, of course. Next week, it already being playoffs here at the Elite Series 2nd Division of League of Legends.
And I really like what I see on the top lane. Like Cutlight going for the face rush. He knows exactly that they can't win the matchup. He knows that he will not proc those grass procs, because if you fight Olaf, you are probably dead. So he just goes for face rush to hopefully run away from him. Like the Craggers. I mean, in the Craggers matchup, at the first match of the day, we saw exactly how strong it is to just make a small trade and run away. So maybe it will work on this one as well. So I really like this little pickup.
Yes. And we started well into this game. The first few trades are emerging. Merling looking to position his wall as to annoy Spinto a bit. There we are.
And we see both junglers starting on the top side, but especially like Revai is doing like a crazy clear path, just going red into blue, into top side, into bot side. So she will probably gank bot lane, because right now bot lane is pushing in with Karma. Usually you get a push, so they try to set up a slow push to them, so that hopefully when Y comes down to the bot lane, there's like a big wave and they can just gank on this big wave. It would be like optimum for them, but no, Y actually wants to help out top lane, but that could be dangerous.
And Jadko is so close to their own turret, and they might be able to get the first blood on to Cutlight there.
Really well played, and I misread it. But I mean, normally you don't gank your tank, but well played. And it will not really matter. Maybe if the Y would have gotten the kill then that could matter a little bit. But especially like a kill on Catlight, it will not like help him really in this matchup. He will probably still lose it, maybe, but I don't know. But it was a good roaming, it was a good ganking opportunity, especially Jutko without flash is usually dead there. So well played by Once Upon a Team, and they start to snowball.
Yes, absolutely. To get it started there. Yeti fights here for PERTINAX on the bot lane, trying to look for a hook opportunity. There we have it, goes to the side, and now it's Soto who comes in with the root onto Cairo. We get some nice damage on them.
Yeah, well played, and especially Toto just going into the offensive after the hook didn't land, because usually you want to trade if the cooldowns are on, if the enemy spells are on cooldown. Especially hook is such an important cooldown that Toto just knew we will win the trade if I go in. He did it, so well played by Toto, who knew exactly how to play such a matchup there.
And here we have it on the bot lane. Might have a kill here that goes to Heroes. Is everything aligned correctly for them?
And that's the flip side. He didn't wait it for the hook, so he engaged into the hook and got punished from that. So, like sometimes you play it right, sometimes you don't play it right, and this time Toto just was a little bit over aggressive, but was a good try nonetheless. Especially like if you hit your root, then there comes the Jinx traps and the Mantra Q and the Jinx sap and stuff. So there would be a lot of damage. But sadly, they engaged into the Maokai. I mean, they knew that Y is around, so they felt a lot safer. And that's the reason why they tried it. But it was just, in the end, not working for them.
Oh, we have the level 6 on Merlin already. If Hero's not too far away, maybe can look for an opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, especially with Maokai, you can set up the shockwave. So there is potential to kill Swain, but Swain is really tanky. So it could work, but it doesn't need to. And just look at those trades from Swain. Just getting the root into like the full combo works out every single time. So, and that's a good skanking opportunity as well. If you have your Y around, you could even try to kill the Orianna, for example. But like both lanes are set up, both lanes have damage, so it's a juicy target for both of those junglers.
And for the rest, not much going on. No team looking for any danger, actually. As the first Drake has spawned, so it might be of interest for either team to start looking at it.
Oh.
Oh, here we have Yangish on top lane, Ragnarok is progging out the bot lane as well. We have Once Upon a Team going in, might get the kill on Heroes as well. Yes, this should be working out, and both kill go to UFO, really nice. In the meantime, Cutlight was unfortunately killed on the top side, but that's not too bad. 2 kills for 1 and the Drake is usually pretty worth it.
Yeah, and like your hyper carry got 2 kills. I mean, that's the win condition. This Jinx, if she gets ahead, you have pretty much at least one carry who can carry the whole game. And for Kant, it was a little bit unlucky that he got the face rush proc a little bit too late. After that, he just got run down, and especially with Ghost and with Ignite, Olaf can just kill you. And like that's the reason why this top lane gank was maybe not the best one, just because they can't really work with the kills on Ornn. And maybe if they didn't went for this first gank, maybe Y would have been on time for the bot lane kill on Karma. but or maybe if just the Y would have gotten the kill, it would be a little bit better. But didn't work out. But this bot lane play worked out for them. Just traded 2 for nothing, and the Drake is usually a good pickup as well. And we already see that the layout doesn't like us with the Cloud Drake being announced. But it's actually, I think it was the Hextech Drake. So that would be an important one. So we probably see both teams fighting around it in like a couple of minutes.
Absolutely, as now we get back to that bit more calm situation. Here is gonna go for that Herald with topside having prio. It shouldn't be an issue at all. He's getting something for that last objective on the bot side.
And really well played there by Jinx, just punishing like the really aggressive movement there from Nautilus. Just getting every single auto tech in, and meanwhile even auto taking the turret. So damage maximization by this Jinx, really strong. There could be like an opportunity to gank mid lane with like the roots of Maokai, but they don't want to. Spinto is really tanky. And he has his lost chapter already as well. So it will not be a Rod of Ages Swain. It rather probably is Liantri's Swain for the matter. I mean, we see like triple frontline, so Liantri's is really strong against those tanky frontliners. So it's a good decision by Spinto probably.
Yeah, we have to. It always looks so big, the root there.
Yeah, like yeah, it's a big hitbox, and I don't know why. I thought the same like the first time I saw it, and it looks really crazy every single time. Oh, why is there? There could be trouble.
Wants to steal that Grom, but it doesn't work, and now Neko is gonna die, but maybe we get a kill on the Yeti fight for Once Upon a Team. Yes, it does go to UFO. With Spinto having joined in, we can turn the situation around.
No.
It was looking bad. Merlin flashes in, but the ball was already thrown out on the wrong side. However, we are able to pick up the kill on the enemy AD carry in the end. Spinto is gonna kill our own AD carry. However, Merlin is right there to maybe kill the Swain player who is trying to flee with the Ghost. Solo. Yeah, no, Merlin is gonna get that. Very well played from the mid lane of PERTINAX.
And it's the mage. He is like the wizard of the mid lane. He was there at the right exact moment to like punish this tower dive. Merlin throwing out like the best as he could. With just a little break, it will resume in any second. And yeah, Merlin really crushing this tower dive by Once Upon a Team. He did a good job there, and with that, Once Upon a Team threw a little bit away, especially like some shutdowns on the Jinx, for example. And like it always feels bad if you start a play and that you get punished for that. So that worked out, but no, Toto might catch Merlin out.
Get the root out on Merlin. UFO is right there to pick up the kill. Hopefully, Hero is also very low. He's going to get seasoned and assisted. Neko picks up the kill, and with a zap, we're able to pick up Merlin as well.
Yeah, sadly no assist for the tree, and sadly no kill for the Jinx, but in the end still 2 kills. But there's the Hextech flash.
Yeah, here comes Yetified, gets the root in, but Kara is gonna die to the hands of UFO, but UFO was tanking the turret, I believe, and is gonna die. The kill goes to Yetified. Now Toto, very low as well, is fleeing.
And they just got 2 another kills, and especially important that like Kaiser dies there because she couldn't farm under the turret, so UFO got a little farm lead at least. But look at this Olaf, he just proxy farms right now, and with that Cutlight has not really a chance to do anything, so Olaf will just farm him a little bit more and more. He could have even gotten those jungle camps if he wants, but he didn't. Went for them. Now Drake is up. PERTINAX goes for it, but why? is around the corner, and of course UFO is there as well. So it could be dangerous, and they just drop it. So one Drake for PERTINAX probably. Oh, maybe
Yes.
Jinx ult. Oh,
And
no, they don't go for this deal.
yes, as PERTINAX is able to tip off the scales back in their favor with a small gold lead and equalizing into Drakes. Yes, I like it. Jadko is just doing the turrets.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of the most unsatisfying matchups for Ornn. Like, just one matchup, at least in my opinion, is worse. It's Eloy. You don't want to play Ornn against Eloy. It makes you depressive, to say the least. But like Olaf, I mean, it's one of the matchups where you can't do anything. I mean, he will just out-sustain you. He will out-trade you. He can kill you in early, mid, late game. Like, there's not really a way for this Ornn to do anything. Maybe if he gets like 2 or 3 or 4 kills in a row and just snowballs, but yeah, it's really hard.
Director Cam not being fixed on what to look for. Yeah, as what is now kind of sieging that bot lane town. Neko is right there, so is Pinto. Zetified looks for the hook. Merlin is just around the corner as well, which is good for PERTINAX because we're avoiding a tower dive there. The turret is not going to hold for very long now. About platings. In a matter of seconds. Heroes now on the top side, there to help Jadko. Scottlight is all alone. The turret is also going to die. And we might be able to get a kill. Meanwhile, on the bot side, we also got the turn. We can engage onto PERTINAX as we get a first kill onto Kyra there. Yetified very low, is able to flee, however. 1 for 1. And the same concerning turrets.
Yeah. Well played. I mean, in the end, Once Upon a Team really tries the hardest to win that. And meanwhile, sadly, Cutlight, of course, died. But, I mean, they really try the hardest. And I really like that they just put all the focus on the bot lane, just try to get the Jinx head, just try to have a winning condition there. And especially Cutlight is always strong later on with the ults, with the ornaments. Oh, root. If this root doesn't land, they can try to run him down, but it didn't work out. And now there's the Herald. But there's Olaf, and just look at this Jinx. I mean, this Jinx is just really
like
in the dangerous situation. Just ghost on her, and she's probably dead.
Yeah, Ragnarok is up as well, and there we can see it. He can just go through the traps, pick her up, and now run them down with heroes having joined back up. Now we have Once Upon a Team that's been split up. We get the kill on Cutlight. Now it's Pinto, has to be careful as Caro is onto him with Yetified, is going to use a blast cone, but runs into heroes and is gonna die as well. Things are starting to look up for PERTINAX.
Really well played by PERTINAX, just punishing this aggressive Herald take. Once Upon a Team. Oh, that's not a good matchup here. They
Get root with the rocket, and he's gonna die. I don't. Seasoned assist might have been a bit like the cherry on top of it, I guess.
Just imagine this shutdown on the Jinx. I mean, that would give her a lot of gold, but sadly, rocket was not enough, and sadly, Jinx, sadly, Y needed to take it. But I mean, that's something we didn't even mention. I mean, it's Kate, it's Y and Jinx in the same team. Kane, woohoo! Season 2
sisters.
coming soon, anytime. I don't know.
Oh, soon TM. Yeah, we know those. But to be fair, that's like one of the things where I'm okay with waiting longer is like art. Anything that has art to do, because take your time. Well, you took your time for the first season and was well worth it, so just do it for the second, please.
Dude, just as one little I mean, everybody like in the comments and like every single viewer will be mad about me. You will probably be mad about me, but like I watched Arcane but not the last episode. I never watched the last
I mean,
episode.
I'm not mad. I'm confused.
Yeah,
Why would you not finish it?
I don't know. It's just, I mean, it's crazy, right? I was sitting in my bed and just binge watching like the first two parts. Like when they came out, I just watched the 3 episodes and stuff. And somehow I stopped watching at the last part. I don't know. It's really sad. Anyway, Drake situation, but there's Olaf. But he can't really get into it, so they will just trade. And look at Merlin on the sideline. He will just get a turret. They will get mid lane turret. So that was a really expensive trade.
Yes, at least we're able to stop Herald from pushing any further. We got some objective bounty, but this hurts. The inhib turret on the top lane. That's gonna be an issue down the line. The big one. Yeah, yeah.
And like that's something some teams probably sometimes don't notice it, but like a Drake doesn't mean anything if you don't get the soul. And especially in such a situation, like you get a single Drake and lose so many turrets, it's just not worth it to go for the Drake. And that's exactly what PERTINAX just read and knew. So they just punished this Drake by just doing a really good cross map play, and like this type of macro gameplay by PERTINAX really shows us that this team is really strong, that they understand how to play around the map, and just yeah, they look really scary, and they really deserve to get into playoffs. But Once Upon a Team still has the chance to stop them, and like that's really amazing to see. Like the last place team of the league still has an impact if they win today. I mean, that's so amazing.
Yes, that's pretty amazing to see indeed. They have a lot resting on their shoulders. Although they can also just say, it's not our problem.
But it's
you
a
still wanna
competitive
win.
league. Yeah, it's a competitive league, and just getting one win for them probably means a lot for the whole squad. Because if you lose like every single match day, it's always nice to get back a little bit. But we already see that they just get out macroed again. Like they get a turret, but for what? They lose probably bot lane turret, and could have even lost like the inhib and stuff. So like Once Upon a Team really tries to group around, because that's their win condition. They have a good engage, they have a hyper carry, so they need to group. And PERTINAX just plays around that win condition and just tries to split push, because like that's the way how to avoid those team fights. If you just avoid them, then you will not get crushed in a 5v5 team fight.
Yeah, and they've got some really nice tools to push. I mean, they've got the Olaf, they've got the Orianna, which can push really well. And I mean, they get their push in, and they decide to immediately rotate for Baron, as Once Upon a Team had to go back to kind of defend. And yeah, things looking really good for PERTINAX. With that Baron, they can just go even stronger with that split push thing they were having there.
Yeah. It's a tough game for Once Upon a Team, and they even got out macroed in the end with the Baron. So they after they pushed the mid lane turret, and they needed to defend the 2 other side lanes, PERTINAX used this pressure to start up the Baron, because they knew that the 5 Once Upon a Team players will go back to the base. So in the meantime, they could just do the Baron, and like that's just really smart of PERTINAX right now. They just outplayed them in a lot of ways, and just shows us that PERTINAX could be the better team, and they really want to win it, because if they win this game, they are in the tiebreaker against a struggling Reapers. So they will do everything they can to win it and play really safe, just to have this chance of playoffs. I think that's really an important thing, that you don't over force, that you don't like throw the game away just because you think you can do that. I think PERTINAX will play it really, really safe just to maximize the chance for playoffs.
And they do so rightfully as they group up in the mid lane, pick up a turret, and now can immediately rotate towards that Drake, pick up their second Drake, while the rest keeps pushing.
And I think probably like the most important moment will be when this Jinx has IE. I think if Jinx has 3 items and Ornn upgrades her Mythic, then this Jinx is like on a huge power spike. And with that, they can try to force a team fight with Ornn ultimate, with Vi ultimate. Like, they have a lot of tools to force a team fight, but they need definitely to win it, because if they don't like win a clean ace, they probably lose like side lane stuff, because Jatko will probably never group, and even Merlin will sit a lot on side lane, so they will probably just try to force a 3v5 or 4v5 and try to win it with the big Jinx power spikes they have. And yeah, I mean, that's Ornn needs to be level 14 for the ornament, and I don't know how much gold Jinx need, but they try to engage anyway.
Yeah, they try to engage here to get TT fight out of the way very quickly, but now Kara in the middle of them. UFO gets rooted, and Heroes keeps on going on to him. Splinter comes in to help. It's 9 time UFO is going to fall, but in the meantime, they've got 2 kills. They are in a numerical advantage. They go back towards the turret, however, as Jatko is coming in. Can't forget that PERTINAX is ahead in terms of gold, especially Merlin, with an absolutely insane CS lead.
Yeah, well played by Once Upon a Team. They just won a 2v1. They just traded 2v1. Of course, they lost the most important member, and they lost a lot of summoners. Like, just look at Toto, just look at Euphorio, they just lost all the important flashes. Even Cutlite lost the flash. But in the end, still 2 kills, and especially for the losing team, like trading evenly is always a good thing. So I quite like how Once Upon a Team just saw the opportunity to go in there. We already see like the ornament on Jinx, so they're usually those upgraded Ornn items are worth around about 1000 gold. So you can code every single ornament, and we have 2 already as 2000 gold in the bags. So with that, like at the moment, they are down 8k, but with the tournament ornament items, probably just 6k. So it's still a lead, but it's not the like highest lead we already saw this match day. So there's still a good chance for Once Upon a Team to snag a win here if they get 1 or 2 good team fights.
Yes, and that's what we've been saying. I mean, they just need to hold out until their Jinx can start doing the work, and PERTINAX has to start being careful. They need to focus around, and they've done a good job last fight to do so. But that you need to find purchase on the Jinx then, and there is a lot of peel there. If Once Upon a Team is grouped together, it's going to be really rough to kill UFO.
Yeah, and UFO is a little bit aggressive here, stepping forward a lot. But we already see like Murder on the sideline, we see Jatko on the sideline, so Once Upon a Team needs to answering that, because otherwise they might just lose the whole base, and they just try to engage there, but they are not really someone you can engage. Now they get even engaged by the Maokai ult.
Yeah.
But nothing really happens, and they just lose like 2 hits out of that.
Yeah, it's all PERTINAX had to do was 1 Maokai ulti from the side and an Nautilus ulti to stop their attempt at engaging and causing them to lose turrets. And now, as they're backing, because they need to protect base, PERTINAX is able to engage on less people. They catch Splinter, who is trying to flee in with the help of Toto, might even make it. No, it's not enough as Kara goes in, and now PERTINAX is at the Nexus. Neko comes in to get Merlin out of the equation, but Jatko is just hitting at the Nexus. Now he's gonna go on to UFO, gets a lot of damage on the AD carry. Luckily, Neko is there to help him and to get the shutdown, but it's a very close situation they've got going on there. Meanwhile, the rest of PERTINAX is finishing off Toto as well. And in the end, it's looking rough for Once Upon a Team, because now they're 3 versus 2. They're having, like, using everything they can to clear up, and the rest of PERTINAX is just going for that Baron.
And they will probably secure the Baron. And in the end, like, PERTINAX can do that every single time. Just set Jutko on a side lane, just set Merlin on a side lane, just wait for Once Upon a Team to do anything and then punish them on the side lanes. So it's really, really hard for Once Upon a Team to play it right now, because normally against split push you say just engage, just win a team fight with 4v5 or 3v5, because either you get like the TPs and you force the split pusher to the team with the engage, or you say, okay, we lose 1 turret, but we get a winning team fight and get probably 1 turret as well, or maybe even an inhib for that. So while the split pusher gets something, we get a little bit more. That's normally the thing you want to do against split pushers. But now you don't have anything in the base left. So if you now just engage against the split pusher will just end the game. So that's really, really, really hard now. They really need to catch Jutko on the side lane or Merlin on the side lane, or catch them all 5 to not be in danger of the Spectre. But I don't know if PERTINAX will ever group again, just because they know there's an open nexus and we can just go for the split push. So that's really a tough spot right now for Once Upon a Team, because 1 bad team fight and it's game for them.
Yes, absolutely. As the game is starting to come to a close with PERTINAX encroaching onto Once Upon a Team's base, going for that mid lane inhib, last one standing. And behind the engage here with Cutlight to try and stop them. Now Spinto coming in with his demonic form as well. We get the root on here, is a lot of damage on him, but Spinto is also almost about to die. Gets the Zonias in, but we have Jutko in the middle of Once Upon a Team, is able to take out Yuffie. This should be it, as PERTINAX can take out the rest of Once Upon a Team without the AD carry. They don't have too much damage left. Spinto survives pretty long still. Now he's alone against 4 people. Toto having had to back to get him. Toto now all alone at the Nexus. Is not going to be able to do much, as PERTINAX is pushing in, grabbing themselves another win, and most importantly, a tie against Reapers Gaming.
Yeah. GG's from PERTINAX and Once Upon a Team. This was the most important game for PERTINAX. They clutched it out, they won it, they get the tiebreaker. That's everything they needed to get back into the chance of playoffs. And I don't know how Merlin is feeling right now, but he is so proud, probably, just because his team clutched it out. And I mean, it was a tough season, and in the end they still have one bullet left in their revolver. Like, they had just one bullet left against the Reaper, and they need to hit it. And maybe they shoot to the side and don't hit him, or maybe they just kill the Reaper. And like, just look at the picture. Like, there's like this big Reaper with like the death sands, and he will just go to PERTINAX and say, no, there's no playoffs for you. And just Merlin pulling out the weapon out of the head and saying, no, I have one last shot. I mean, it's so amazing. It's you could really like draw a picture from that. Where PERTINAX just jumps over like the deadly synth from the Reaper. And yeah, what an amazing storyline we have here.
Yeah, or maybe it's a botch and he puts the hand in the hat, pulls out a dove, and is expecting a weapon, just goes Ori. I mean, we're in for a show, because both teams definitely want to win that tiebreaker to get into playoffs. I mean, it's all or nothing for them right now, as the split is heading to a close. And talking about heading to close, we'll be heading into a short break, in order to prepare for the next match, and especially for the Once Upon a Team players to catch a breath after this pretty close or at least this intense game, as they will be facing Rift Slavs very soon. So yeah, definitely stay ready for the next game, and we'll see you guys very soon.